Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So here's a brand new deck profile for you guys today. This time it's on Maliss. So funny enough, I was actually able to build this deck literally in less than a day. So just last Thursday, I bought 2 boxes of crossover breakers and pulled a huge chunk of the core, like basically like at least one of each of the ultra rares except the field spell, and pretty much playsets of everything else. The only thing I was really just missing at the time was 2 White Rabbit and a whole playset of the field spell, which shoutouts to Omega Gaming for literally having exactly what I need in stock the next day. So yeah, I was just able to piece this deck together pretty quickly, and yeah, it was really nice. And anyway, so Malice is interesting because it's a Cyberse deck that's really good at link climbing, and it's definitely going to be one of the top tier decks moving forward. So, and the best part about this is that this can be played in a multitude of different ways. And funny enough, this deck is still being solved. Like, there's no like um no set like best option to play this deck, if that's the best way I can really put it. So like I've seen some builds that go Kashtira Malice, I've seen some Sky Striker Malice, and there's even one build that plays cards like Parallel Exceed. So like everyone's experimenting with this, and that's what I like about it. For me, I'm playing more of a structured build, and of course I am playing a few Bestials in the line, and maybe later down the line I may dabble more with the Bestial engine, maybe put in some Libellions and a branded regain and so forth. But for now, I just wanted to show you like pretty much like what I felt like was my personal best build that I could come up with. And yeah, let's just go and get started. All right, so the main deck is 40 cards, starting off with 3 copies of Malice Dormouse. So this is actually your main starter. Surprisingly, this was a super rare, not an ultra rare, but oh well, I'm glad it is super early, so make it easier to build, you know? But anyway, during the main phase, you can banish 1 Malice monster directly from your deck, so basically a combo starter. And all the Malice monsters have some kind of gimmick where a Link monster points to them. Uh, they'll have like some form of additional effect. And also, the main deck monsters, if they're banished, you pay 300 life points for those, and for the extra deck ones, it's 900. But I'll get into more into that later on. But anyway, for this one, if a Malice Link monster points to this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. So just a good way to deal with like Ghost Ogre and stuff like that. Next up, 3 copies of Malice P White Rabbit. This is another great card overall, just because like what it does. So you take no damage involving battles with Malice Link monsters that point to this card. And also, when this card is normal or special summoned, you get to set 1 Malice trap card directly from your deck. And again, like the previous one, you pay 300 life points if it gets banished, it just to special summon it right back. Next up, I play 2 copies of Cheshire Cat. I know some people like to play this at 1, and there are builds that play this at 3, but that's if you're on Allure of Darkness. For me, I decided to go with 2, especially because like I just have like having backup copies, you know, you can never really go wrong with that. Plus, I love drawing cards, and this card basically does that. So, any monster destroyed by battle with a Malice Link monster that points to this card gets banished instead. And during the main phase, you can banish 1 Malice card from your hand, draw 2 cards. So, yeah. Anyway, moving forward, for my Bestial line, I'm actually playing 2 copies of Druisworm as well as a Magnemite. I just like Druisworm for the fact that, you know, it's a great way to deal with Ryziel Detonator. Ryziel is definitely going to be the best deck moving forward. And yeah, Ryziel's Detonator is just such an annoying card, but at least with Druisworm, it helps, you know, get rid of its, deal with, well, just bypass that self-protection effect that it has. And Magnemite, you know, obviously it just searches out the Druisworm for you. But I like the Bestials too because, like, not only do they act as extenders, but if you banish, like, one of your Malice monsters, especially your Links, you know, you can basically abuse them a lot more because, again, they bring themselves back, and they are dark monsters conveniently enough. So there's a lot you could do with the Bestials. Like, there's just so much toolboxy things you can do. But anyway, next up for my other Cyberse cards, I'm playing the 1 EMP Meow Mine. I know some people are not opting to play this, but I like it especially for this deck because aside from being an extender, it actually has a unique little interaction with one of my favorite cards, SP Little Knight. So when a Link 2 monster specifically is banished, and keep in mind that you had to be the one to control this, it triggers her effect from hand or graveyard where you can banish it, bounce back 1 card your opponent controls. So like this with SP makes it so that SP is essentially a 1 for 2 removal, and that's actually pretty nuts. So again, like there's a lot of application you can do with EMP Meow Mine, and it just gets disgusting really fast. But speaking of extenders, I do run the one Code of Soul. Great card overall because, it's searchable with Silent Mining. As long as you control a Link monster, you can just special summon this for free. And can actually be a pretty neat little Terahertz target just to send it off so that way you can make Firewall Dragon during your opponent's turn. But sometimes, like hard opening with it is not the worst because, again, you could just use it as an extender. So, like, it just kind of, like, bridges some new options, Speaking of which, Dotscaper, another fantastic card to act as a form of extender. And you do have a multitude of different ways to get into the grave or banish pile, so it never really feels like a brick overall. But anyway, that's it for the main line of monsters. Now moving on to the spells. For spells, I'm playing 3 copies of Malice and Underground. So yeah, this card's pretty cool. Also a 1-card starter. You can, when this card is activated, you just banish 1 Malice card from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And while you have 3 or more Malice trap cards of different names in your grave or banish, in your banish pile, Malice Link monsters you control gain an additional 3,000 attack points. That may not always come up, but it's there if you really want to go for like a one-shot kill or something. So yeah, that can come up sometimes. But anyway, moving forward, for my consistency piece, 3 Silent Mining, as much as I like Allure of Darkness, I feel like we're not really playing enough darks. And plus, there's also quite a lot of non-engine here too. So yeah, I feel like Silent Mining at least just, guarantees me something that I really want. And it's good for Ash bait. So like if I know my opponent's on Ash, which most decks should, at least I can, bait it out and then just kind of go from there. Anyway, 1 Gold Sark is another good combo starter. And then finally, for the trap cards, I'm playing just 1 of each of the Malice traps, 1 MTB07, 1 GW06, and 1 TB11. All great cards overall. This one searches, and if you have a Link monster, you get to banish 1 card on your opponent's side of the field, non-targeting. GWC is basically Monster Reborn, and also helps you regain life points if you control a Link monster. And this one just special summons 1 from the deck. And of course, who doesn't love to special summon more monsters, right? And the cool thing about these strats is that they can be activated on the same turn they're set, so long as you get to banish a Malice monster that's face up on your field. So just bear that in mind, because that is pretty relevant for some of the combo lines. But anyway, that's it for that. All right, so now moving on to the non-engine. 3 Ash Blossom, of course. 3 Fuelos, which actually, if y'all didn't see the announcement, this card is actually getting reprinted in the next quarter century Stampede, so that's pretty exciting, right? 2 Droll and Lockbird and 1 Nib. The reason for this ratio is simply because I needed to make room for the 1 Nib at least for a crossout target. And Droll and Lockbird, I just want to be able to play it. I would like to play 3 Droll, but again, I felt like having that Nib as a crossout target is pretty key, especially because like Nib does actually hurt this deck more than people might think. But that being said, there are still ways you can play around that, so I'll get into that momentarily. 3 Imperm, and then of course the 3 Crossout and the 1 Call by the Grave. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. Alright, so now for the extra deck. Playing 1 of each of the Malice Link monsters, so 1 Heart's Cryptor. Great card because it recycles your Malice cards that are banished and acts as basically disruption. So yeah, quick effect, you can target 1 of your banished Malice cards, shuffle it back into your deck, and if you do, banish 1 card on the field, non-targeting. And also, when this card is pointing to a monster, this effect cannot be negated, so that is actually pretty cool. Also, if this card is banished, you can pay 900 life points, special summon this card, and then double up its attack points. So yeah, the Link monsters have a little bit of a bonus effect once you special summon back from the banished pile. 1 red ransom, sorry, I almost said that wrong. So while this card points to a monster, the original attack and defense points of effect monsters get swapped. Not too relevant, but can't come up. And of course, if this card is special summoned, you can add 1 Malice spell card from your deck to your hand. So this is basically how you get the Malice and Underground. Also, if this card is banished, you pay 900 life points, special summon it, and if you do, just banish a Cyberse monster directly from your deck. So this is how you basically go into the Dotscaper play. So yeah, just bear this in mind. And then finally, the 1 White Binder. This is probably what I think might be the best one of the trio. So if this card is special summoned, you can target up to 3 cards in any graveyard, banish them. And keep in mind, this is pretty important, especially if you're going to go into the Hearts Cryptor, because, you know, you also want to have banished cards to shuffle back. And not only that, if you happen to have an effect, or if you happen to have any of the Maliss monsters that haven't been banished yet, this can be pretty key for the combo line. Also, if this card is banished, you know, obviously you get to special summon it back, draw one card. And then this card also enables you during the main phase to set one Malice trap directly from your deck or your graveyard. So another great way just to recycle the traps, which is why you only need one of each. But anyway, for the Link ones, you know, playing the one Lingeribu, one Link Decoder, this card's pretty nice. One Link Spider, one Haggard Lizardos. I try to go into this early on before going to the next card, Splash Mage, and that's simply because, you know, this banishes from field or graveyard as long as the monster has 2,000 or less attack points, and it's just a great combo piece, you know. And Splash Mage, you know, just generically good cyber support. I'm also on the one IP Masquerena and SP Little Knight. IP going into SP always feels good, especially because, you know, SP just gets around Ogre this way, so that's why I like it. Another card that people have been talking about, Protect Code Talker, and yeah, I can see why. This card's actually pretty good. Link 4 or higher monsters you control cannot be targeted. Sorry, I lost my voice there for a second. And also, they cannot be destroyed in battle. And also, this card can bring itself back so long as you banish Link monsters from your graveyard, as long as their Link rating equals 3, in which case you can just banish one of the Link 3 Malice monsters, and yeah, you essentially just bring this right back. So, and this only works as long as you control a Firewall monster. Just bear that in mind. Next up, one Access Code. Pretty good for board breaking. One Firewall Dragon. Happy to be able to play this again, especially because, like, sometimes I can actually get it to co-link with 2 arrows, and yeah, it's just so great for this deck. And of course, to round up our links, the one Terahertz. And as an additional target for the Terahertz, I actually like to play the Desert Worm because, you know, it's Spell and Trap Negate, and since Terahertz already negates monsters during the battle phase, yeah, you can see where this is going. But anyway, that's it for that. I wish I had room for the Mirror Logic Aggregator, but, you know, as long as I had the Fusion Monster at the very least, I'm perfectly fine with that. For the side deck, 3-dimensional Shifter. I know some of you probably already noticed I don't main this. And honestly, I think siding it out is going to be a lot better right now because, like, a lot of people are going to be on Ryzeals and Malice especially, and this card just isn't that good against them. But it's still, you still want to at least side it for the more rogue strategies, you know, because there are decks that are still graveyard reliant, so like Fire Kings, Tier Element. So, like, yeah, you just want to be able to, you know, be prepared for those kind of matchups. 2 Lancia, one for the mirror and one as a crossout target, because, like, Lancia does hurt my deck quite a lot. 3 Droplet, definitely one of my favorite spells of all time. Double Thrust, and 1 Talent. And for some other targets for the Thrust, shoutouts to my friend Grant, actually, for giving me the idea for Change of Heart. And the reason for this is simply because if anyone happens to be on Chaos Hunter, you can essentially just take the Chaos Hunter away from them, and you can go full combo from there. That way, you know, because, you know, Chaos Hunter only affects the opponent and not the other way around, so that's pretty nice. 1 Heartbeast Feather Duster, D-Barrier, and I decided to throw this card into the mix, the Different Dimension Crowd, so it's like I'm basically playing 6 copies of Shifter, essentially. So, yeah, just kind of dabbling from there and so forth. But anyway, that's it for the deck profile portion of this video. Just give me 1 second, and stay tuned for the test hand combo video. Combo portion of the video, I'm sorry. Anyway, be right back. Alright everyone, so thanks for sticking around for the combo portion of this video. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick test hand, you know, just to kind of give you guys a general rundown of how this deck functions. And yeah, this deck's a lot of fun, especially once you get the hang of it. But bear in mind, this is very combo heavy, so you're going to have to keep track on a lot of things. All it takes is one little mistake, and yeah, it's going to lead to some major misplays if you're not careful. So, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys like how the end board should look. That way, you know, you can be set up during your opponent's turn and basically play on their turn, because, like, yeah, this deck can abuse the banished stuff very quickly, so, and that's why it's so good. But anyway, let's see what we got to work with. Get this a nice good cut, and let's get started. All right, so let's see what we got to work with. Ooh, we got Magnum right out the gate. I love to see that in my opening hand. We got an Imperm. Okay, great for Disruption. Gold Target, that's already like our 1-card starter right there. Drone Lockbird, and last but not least, okay, double Imperm. It's not too bad, honestly, because like honestly, Gold Sarker is already kind of giving me everything that I need here. So yeah, let's work with that. I'm going to go ahead and start by activating the Gold Sark. We're going to go ahead and banish off the Dormouse effect. We're going to go ahead and special summon it. And then with Dormouse, we're going to go ahead and banish the White Rabbit effect. Pay the 300 to special summon that as well. And since this card was normal or special summon, we can now set one Maliss trap directly from our deck. In which case, I think the correct play is going to have to be the TB11. Yeah, TB11 sounds good. All right. And now, this is where things get a little tricky because, like, we already banished these once already, and there are once per turns to do that. So, like, it all depends on, like, where you kind of go from here. So, I am kind of seeing a line, though. We're going to go ahead and not banish, but link off the Dormouse. I am actually going to go ahead and go for a Lingeribo. All right. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and go Magnemite. I didn't want to have to go into him too early, but I mean, sometimes you have to, right? Or better yet, no, instead of doing that, let's do this. We're actually going to link off these two. We're going to go into Splash Mage. Now, I did mention that in the deck profile that you don't really want to go into him too early unless you really have to. But because, you know, like I said, I already banished the two of my Maliss monsters, like right from the get-go, I kind of have to at this point. So I just got to play it safe. So we'll go Splash Mage. We'll go and special summon out the White Rabbit. I mean, it can be anything, really. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and link off these two together to make one of the Link 3s. In which case, I'm going to go for the Red Ransom. Red Ransom effect, we're going to go ahead and add one of the Maliss spells from our deck to our hand, in which case, the only one to get is going to be the Malice and Underground. Okay. And now we're going to go and activate... Or no, better yet, let's do this instead. We're going to go ahead and activate the TB11, banish the Red Ransom, and then from here, we're going to go ahead and special summon Cheshire Cat from our deck. That way we don't banish it immediately with the Malice and Underground. I kind of want to save that for something else. So yeah, we'll do the Cheshire Cat. It can't use its effects this turn, but once it leaves the field, I mean, that's going to be fine. Red Ransom effect, pay the 900 to special summon it, and now we can banish a Cyberse from our deck, in which case, always go for the Dotscaper. Dotscaper effect, special summon it. Let me kind of space everything out a little bit better here. There we go. So that's going to be a graveyard, etc., etc. Okay, so anyway. Now what I can do is we're going to go ahead and link off the Dotscaper and go for the Link Decoder, because it's just going to replace itself already, so that's why I'm doing it this way. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and link off for 3. Next, we're going to go ahead and aim for the White Binder, which is my personal favorite of the trio. White Binder effect on special, we get to banish up to 3 cards in either graveyards. And considering that, let's say we are the going first player, obviously, we're going to be banishing our own. So for sure, we're going to go ahead and banish. Oh, actually, I almost forgot. So we've got to do the chain links because, like I said, don't want to miss anything. So we'll go Chain Link 1, White Binder, Chain Link 2, the Link Decoder, bring himself right back. And now we'll go ahead and resolve the banishment. So we'll, yeah, for sure banish the Cheshire as well as, let's go for the MTB11 because we can always recycle that. And yeah, that should be good. Cheshire effect, pay 300 to bring it right back. And if you want to, you could go ahead and use the Cheshire effect to banish the Malice and Underground because we can always like draw more cards, and sometimes that might be a risk you have to take. So let's go for it. We'll go and use Cheshire, banish the Malice and Underground, draw 2 more cards. Okay, so drew into another Cheshire, so not too bad. Ooh, we got Code of Soul 2. So we already have like one of the best extenders possible, honestly. Okay, so might as well go and just take full advantage of that. So let's go and special summon the Code of Soul. And now what I'd like to do is we're actually going to go ahead and link for 3 again. Because like now I can basically go into the Hearts Cryptor. No, actually, I changed my mind. I'm sorry. I have a better plan. We are actually going to go ahead and link for 5. Because, like, realizing it now, I can already go into terahertz. Yeah, go for the terahertz. We'll use terahertz effect. Send this to the grave. So now we have the multiple negates live. And now we're going to go ahead and go Magnemut. We're going to go ahead and banish the white binder. Special. And then new chain, we'll go chain link 1 Magnemut, chain link 2 white rabbit. Special summon it. And then during the end phase, oh, also we get to draw a card. Almost forgot about that. Okay, got a cross out. And then on end phase, Magnemut will add the Druid Swarm. All right, so while we're still on main phase, we're going to go and use the white binder effect now. We're going to go ahead and set another Maliss trap directly from our deck. In which case, let's go for the MTB07. All right, so now let's see. What did I do from here? I'm trying to remember. I did, in fact, normal summon, so yeah. That's a thing to consider. We still got Code of Soul, which is pretty crazy because, like, during the opponent's main phase, we can banish it, and then immediately after this resolves, we can link summon a Link 3 or higher Cyberse monster, in which case we can go Firewall Dragon almost immediately. And all we really need is just like an additional material for this to work. And quite honestly, I'm actually okay leaving the Link Decoder out by himself just like that. So from here, we're going to go ahead and set 3 cards. Because our opponent's going to be kind of guessing at that point, like, because he doesn't know what else is in our hand. And then from here, we can just go straight to the end phase. We'll go ahead and search. I just realized my deck was upside down. I apologize. Get my Druid Swarm. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and just kind of end the turn. And then, of course, we pass it over to our opponent. Our opponent draws. Probably during the draw phase, I'd probably go... You could probably go Terahertz again if you want to, but honestly, I don't see the reason to. Except for doing this. Oh, you know what? There is actually something I could have done last turn, and I just kind of realized my little mistake. So, what I could have done last turn before I ended it was link off these 2, in fact. We could have actually gone into SP Little Knight, and then Terahertz effect during the opponent's draw phase. Just send off the EMP Meow Mine. That way, you know, we have now 4 forms of disruption, really. Technically 5 if you include the trap card too. So yeah, that's just one little thing I kind of messed up on. So sorry about that. Like I said, you got to like keep track of stuff like this. And honestly, I'm glad I just realized that mistake at the last possible second before I closed it out. But anyway, yeah, we're pretty much like off to the races with just this alone because SP Little Knight, you know, at any point we can just banish it. Banish a monster your opponent controls. And then from there, we banish the EMP Meow Mine because a Link 2 Exact did banish itself. And then bounce something back. And not only that, but we also still have the Maliss trap card that we said earlier, the MTB07. At any point, you know, if they summon a monster, you banish the white binder. Or actually, no, you don't banish the white binder. You just search for a Maliss card from our deck to hand. And since we control a Link monster, we get to banish 1 card. I'd probably go for another Dormouse just for the sake of having follow-up. And then, boom, just like that. And also, funny enough, now that we have the Druid Swarm, at any point we can go Druid Swarm as long as your opponent controls a monster. Quick effect, banish the Red Ransom, special summon the Druid Swarm, and then Red Ransom effect, special summon herself straight back. And then, of course, she has 2 different effects to activate. Well, so like as soon as she summons, you banish an additional Cyberse monster from your deck. I'd probably go for the White Rabbit, and then new chain, you know, because she was special summon, we'll probably go chain link 1, chain link 2 to special. Get another copy of Maliss and Underground. So like I said, we're pretty much set for follow-up. And then this one, we'll set the GWC. That way, at any point, we can go GWC, banish white binder, and then special summon the Maliss directly from our grave or banish pile if we want to. Which case, I'd probably go for either Dormouse or Cheshi. Just for like, yeah, just for like additional follow-up, or not follow-up, but just for more bodies. And then white binder, pay the 900 again, special, draw a card. So, like, you kind of see where, like, why things just get a little silly. So, we drew into a Fuelos, by the way. And then, once again, you know, since we can still play it during our opponent's turn, go to Soul Effect, banish it. Now we can make a easy Link 4 monster right here. So, I'd probably go... If I wanted to get some even more removal, take off the Druid Swarm and maybe the Red Ransom. And you know what? I kind of realized my mistake. I should have put Red Ransom right here instead. But that's okay. Like, either way, like, I need one of these to go into Firewall Dragon. Boom. And then, of course, you know, Druid Swarm sends something off. And if we need to, we could always just bounce back that... use Firewall's effect to either bounce something back from our opponent's side of the field or grave, or do it to ourselves. You could also go for either one of these. I'd probably go for Magnamut, because, you know, he was already in our graveyard. And then just go Magnamut, banish a Dark, get another search for a second Druid Swarm. So, like, yeah, this is a lot of ridiculous things you can do with the Maliss deck as a whole. And like I said, there's just so much you can do. But anyway, and I always try to leave root for one, you know, that way your SP Little Knight comes back, because you definitely don't want that SP to go for good. So, yeah. But that's generally, like, the general gist of what this deck does. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys again next time.